The Surfing Violinist presents the Beyond Bollywood OneTake, Episode 3, The Householder. The Householder is a sweet and simple film that expertly navigates cultural, generational, and economic tensions. This is a creative, cross-cultural, and constructive masterwork made possible by an audacious team of artists from America to India, beyond and between. The Householder is a coming-of-age drama with a budding romance at its heart, with elements of social commentary and lighthearted satire. And on that basis, I give the film 5 out of 5 stars. The first film The Householder brings to mind for me is Ruby in Paradise, Ashley Judd's first feature film, which just so happens to be set and filmed in my hometown. Both films are well-crafted depictions of social change at the speed of an individual's coming of age. Both films take their time and allow their protagonists to discover their course in life through frustrations in their professions and relationships, and along the way provide them with a deeper love of the day-to-day means instead of a preoccupation with naive, ambitious ends. At the end of the day, I prefer The Householder, which juggles much more and probes its aims deeper, in my opinion. While the Bollywood film Satya was a dramatic masala romance that found its inspiration in the Gwyneth Paltrow starrer Sliding Doors, certain elements of the development of Oberoi and Mukherjee's relationship reminded me of this film. It's comparing apples to oranges, but even with A.R. Rahman's soundtrack, Satya is no match for The Householder and provides a stunning contrast to the limitations big budgets and box office expectations enforce on filmmaking. The most obvious recommendations would be other Merchant Ivory productions set in India, such as Shakespeare Walla and Bombay Talkies. I have not seen any of these yet, so I will have to report back. Neo-realist films would be another point of departure for fans of this film, but this is another glaring gap in my film-watching experience. The other Indian film this brings to mind for me is Hulla, one of my favorite films of all time, which also depicts a struggling young husband who is trying to juggle his work and his marriage with great difficulty. The New York Times says, "An actor with the name so long I can hardly spell it, Hariendranath Chattopadhyay, hams it up happily as an older teacher. Durga Kote is obvious as the mother-in-law, and Ernest Castaldo is just plain silly as a Zen nutty American. I wish I could say Ismail Merchant, who produced, has done a commendable thing, but I can't see how films along the lines of this one can do the East or the West much good." My official response to the New York Times is lol. Far better for my time is the favorable review from the Film Sufi blog, who doesn't ignore the film's entire point and draws our attention to The Householder's title card. At the outset, the viewer is presented with verses 87 and 89 from Chapter 6 of the Laws of Manu, Manusmriti, that reflect ancient Vedic wisdom dating back some 3,000 years concerning the 4 ordained stages of a man's life. The student, the householder, the hermit, and the ascetic. These constitute 4 separate orders, which all spring from the order of householders, verse 87. And in accordance with the precepts of the Veda and the Smriti, the householder is declared to be superior to all of them, for he supports the other 3, verse 89. The Swami tells him, Prem, our main character, that at this stage of his life he should attend to his duties as a householder. He can seek enlightenment with the Swami later. We see how the householder can get his or her own glimpse of nirvana through love. Communicating cross-culturally is difficult enough, but accurately depicting a culture as an outsider is another level of difficulty. What I admire so much about this film is that it balances between the 2 most typical forms of cross-cultural impatience, mockery and worship. I've been on both sides of this error. I have worshipped India and I've mocked it. Both are easy traps to fall into. When this film does present characters in a mocking, satirical light, it's the people who refuse to fit in. The American who worships India, the wannabe non-resident Indian who thinks everything will be better if women just wear jeans. Why these characters function so well in this film is because I've seen both of these people, in many cases been both of these characters at various stages in my cross-cultural history with India. This film pits our protagonists at a crossroads, and it's just not a broader East versus West cultural crossroads, but it's a male versus female, mom versus wife, doting son versus dutiful husband. The film delicately manages to resist stacking the deck against any one of these roles and allows the characters the time to fail and forgive, withdraw, and renew, check out, and dive back in. In this way, it is one of the best films I can think of that tackles the complexities of navigating marriage and family life. One other body of work that it calls to mind for me is the 3rd season of True Detective, probably the least exciting of the True Detective storylines, but for me it tiptoes on a tightrope with such balance. It's a really methodical depiction of the struggles of married life. True Detective looks backward through the lens of foggy memory, and the householder looks forward through the airbrushed vanity of youth. This is not just one of my favorite films featuring India, it's one of my favorite films. For my money, yet another creative, cross-cultural, and constructive masterpiece. To see these videos early, without ads, join the lineup here on YouTube. You just need a YouTube account, and for $1.99 a month, you click this little join button and sign up to get early and ad-free access to 4 monthly vlogs: the surf vlog, the masala vlog, the violin vlog, and the family vlog. Thank you very much.